Tuesday, March 10th, 2026, Buddha Dhamma, compiled by Sumdit Prat Buddha Gosa Charya, English name P.A. Payuto. We're in chapter 17.14, definitions of the discipline, the Vinaya, beyond the scopes of Sila, moral precepts, or Sila Pata. From page 1696 to page 1702, 02 UC. Chapter 17.14, definition of the Vinaya, the discipline beyond the scope of moral precepts. The discussions of the Vinaya above remains within the domain of moral conduct, Sila, what is directly linked to moral conduct. The term Vinaya, however, has a wide range of meaning. An understanding of the various nuances of this term helps to clarify the Buddhist perspective in general and its framework. There are two basic definitions of this term, Vinaya. The Vinaya is from the Pali language. The first definition is the practice of conforming one's behavior and the way of life to a systemized code of conduct. The development of self-discipline in order to follow an ethical code. The application of ethical code to determine one's conduct, way of life, and communal activities. The second definition is a code of conduct, a set of precepts or a set of regulations which are formulated as principles or standards for training and self-discipline, which can give order and excellence to a person's behavior and to communal activities. Upon closer inspection, one can distinguish 5 nuances of meaning inherent within the two basic definitions. First, training oneself and encouraging others to train themselves in order for people's conduct to be virtuous, correct, disciplined, systematic, and to bring about success and fulfillment. Second, discipline, care and supervision of people's behavior in order that it accords with the code of conduct. Applying a code of conduct as means to regulate people's actions and communal activities. Third, declaration of rules and regulations. In Pali, it's called Niti Panya Apana. The formulation and establishment of code of conduct, rules and precepts, laws and statutes, etc., to act as guidelines and set of criteria in training or regulating people. Fourth, legislation. Niti Panna Ati, the actual code of conduct, the actual rules and precepts, the actual laws and statutes, etc., established for training or regulating people. And fifth, arbitration. Vitnichaya Karana, passing judgment. In the case of legal disputes, settling them according to the established codes and conducts and laws and statutes, etc., in order to maintain righteousness, orderliness, and peace. In terms of human social evolution, the Buddhist teachings state that these systems of regulations arise out of necessity. When people live together in large numbers, with each person seeking the 4 requisites and the consumable objects, it is natural that there arise quarrels, conflicts, and competition. As a result, someone is required to settle these disputes, giving rise to supervision and governance. For the well-being of society, the chosen ruler or the governor must establish rules and guidelines for resolving any problems and regulating people's behavior. A set of rules and laws are thus prescribed, and legislation is enacted. And when disputes arise, judgment is passed and punishment meted out. Originally, it was the sole duty of the ruler to lay down the law and pass judgment in times of conflicts. In the latter, as human societies developed and became more complex, institutions and organizations were created to help establish legislative and judicial systems and procedures to carry out these duties on behalf of the executive branch of the government. Here, though, we see that even the court systems and the administration of justice is one aspect of the term Vinaya. As mentioned above, social exigencies brought about the need for the ruler, who was empowered with the right to judge legal disputes and lay down rules and regulations. The purpose of these guidelines was to foster social order, peace, and virtue, so that the citizens could engage in their livelihoods with minimum conflict, and that society would be secure and prosperous. If the society had a just ruler whose honesty and righteousness was trusted by the people, he would be referred as to a righteous will-turning monarch, Sakavati Dhamma Raja. Although in such societies there exists something called training, it's generally only for the developing knowledge and aptitude in those arts and sciences necessary for successfully engaging in a profession in order to meet the demands of the particular attributes of the society. An important contribution by Buddhism in this context of Vinaya was a change in how people are guided and managed, the regulation of people as the consequence of social exigencies mentioned above. Supported chiefly by a system of governance is the means of controlling people through obligation and compulsion. This form of control is inadequate and not truly effective. One ought to also cultivate a sense of self-discipline. Human beings are capable of being trained. They're able to change from bad to good, from coarse to refined. They have the ability to develop the highest spiritual qualities, including virtuous conduct, inner fortitude, happiness, and most importantly, wisdom, Vinaya, which leads to the realization of the ultimate truth, the Dhamma. Human beings are the primary agents in this dynamic. Human society is formed by the intentional actions of people themselves. For this reason, the essential discipline and training should occur within each individual. A key factor of Buddhism in that the Vinaya, the system of governance and management, emphasizes that people manage themselves by cultivating virtuous conduct, the mind, and wisdom. Those acting as guides are viewed as beautiful friends, Garara Mitra, rather than disciplinaries. In Buddhism, the Vinaya is seen primarily as a system of spiritual training. For this training to proceed well and to reach success, the other aspects of the Vinaya, the disciplines, are introduced as supports, including supervision, administration, the laying down of rules and training precepts, and the course justice, including the settings of disputes. This key system of training is reinforced by Vinaya in the sense of supervision, legislation, arbitration, and described above. Importantly, the Buddhist discipline does not rely chiefly on adhering to the rules and imposing punishment. The emphasis is on training rules rather than commandments. ultimately a person must apply it. It's not prescribed for someone to ultimately do it. If a person does it, he reaps good fruits. If a person does not do it, the person does not reap good fruits. If a person does it, then reinforces and get rid of their mental defilements. If the person doesn't do it, it doesn't recognize that it doesn't have that quality of refining of mental refinement. Let us now turn to the literal explanation of the term Vinaya. Traditionally, this term has been defined as leading to excellence. It may also be translated as guiding or management. In particular, to the term refers to managing individual, so they develop in virtue, reach fulfillment, and the release from all dukkha, suffering, manage society to bring about social peace and stability, managing miscellaneous affairs so they are accomplished well. The adjectival form of vinita, past particle of the verb viniti, is frequently used in the scriptures, primarily in the reference to individuals and groups of people. It may be translated as led to excellence, well trained. When used in reference to affairs of circumstances in the term vinita vatu, it means that these things have been carried out, concluded, and accomplished well. Gautama Buddha stated that he would defer his final passing away, paranibbana, meaning he would put it off, until his disciples from the four assemblies were well trained, vinita. In many commentary passages in the Tipitaka, the term Vinaya is explained as the Tiso Sika, the threefold training. The meaning of the term Vinaya is made clearer when it is compared with the word Dhamma. Dhamma here refers to the essential truths and principles of causality, ranging from laws of nature to the principles of conduct comprising of the holy life. The Vinaya is a way of applying the truths and principles, giving substantial form to conduct and behavior of the holy life, enabling the behavior to spread outwards to the higher world. In other words, Vinaya acts as the instruments for the Dhamma, regulating how a community or society functions in accord with the principles and objectives of the Dhamma. It helps to systemize the holy life. The Dhamma focuses on the essence of teaching and emphasizes the individual. Vinaya focuses on form and emphasizes a system of practice. Here in the note says, establishing the Dhamma Vinaya. Na ta vampa ni ma parinibbana yasami yawa me binku na savaka babi sandhi viyata vinita visarata bahusata Dhamma attara dhammanu dhamma pati panya, meaning evil one, I will not take final nibbana till I have the monks and the disciple who are still well trained, learned, fearless knowers of the Dhamma, trained in conformity with the Dhamma. That's what the Gautama Buddha said. If people overlook the deeper meaning of the Vinaya and do not apply the social principles inherent in the concepts of the Vinaya, the discipline, and do not apply the spirit of the concept to their everyday life, do not formulate a systematic code of conduct that is based on Buddhist values and appropriate to the present time, follow it strictly and share it with others, and do not seek the essence of the law, the Dhamma, it is reasonable to expect the following dire consequences. First, the domain of Buddhist practice, or the sphere of Buddhist way of life, will become more constricted and limited. The Buddhist community will not advance. On the contrary, it will be on a defensive and retreat far from the rest of human society, as if fleeing to the island surrounded by rising tides, cut off from the rest of the world. The social circumstances, especially to the overall state of society, will change according to the outside power and influence, with Buddhists having almost no participation in the creation of management of social affairs. When social circumstances change in ways unsupportive to Buddhist practice, they will have direct impact on Buddhism, perhaps even reaching the stage where Buddhist practice is impossible. If this happens, Buddhists will have themselves to blame for their carelessness and neglect. The ancient traditions in Thailand related to ordination, of having boys and young men being ordained as novices and monks to receive an education in the monastery. And in brief, that a man must first be ordained as a rite of passage before he gets married and starts a family. The examples are establishing a moral code of the Vinaya and the Buddhist social system, which helps greatly for Buddhism to thrive and become widespread in Thai society. The deterioration of these traditions has had obvious adverse effects on Buddhism in Thailand. If Buddhists do not understand the essence of the term Vinaya, and the true objective of Buddhist social ethics, not only will the spirit of moral training not extend out and be integrated into the practice of lay Buddhists, but even the essential function of the monastic Vinaya will fade away, leaving only to a set of empty rituals. If one is to restore the proper application of moral discipline, Vinaya, a mere emphasis on strictness of form is inadequate. An essential task which has not been carried over from the past and been reduced in importance is to restore and revive the spirit of social ethics inherent in the monastic Vinaya. Moreover, Buddhists should extend the spirit of social ethics outward and apply it to spiritual practice of lay community, establish the Buddhist code of conduct and social system that is appropriate to today's day and age. That's the end of chapter 17.4. At the bottom of page 1701. And now, on the next section, we'll pick up with the appendix, and that will be the end of chapter 17. Buddha Dhamma.